This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. It will usually just be one of us. We just crowded everyone.
It's now 9:30. We'll call the meeting to order. Can we open with a moment of silence, followed by the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Corrections to the duplicate. Deb? Good morning.
We have no additions. We have subtractions of $541,200.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on agenda items only? Okay, I'll make a motion, I'm sorry, to accept the corrections to the duplicate. Second.
First, then a second.
First and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public comment, agenda items only? Seeing none? Old business, approval of the minutes of the 1/3/24 Commissioners meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. First and second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Nay. Proclamations and certificates. Nicholas Verbantic, Eagle Scout. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Excellent. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Dave, can you just talk about Nicholas's project for a minute since you were the one to present it?
Sure. I had the pleasure of presenting the certificate to Nicholas this weekend, and he did an Eagle Scout project. He was also a volunteer at Shawnee Fire Company. His project was to collect used fire gear in our area that was no longer usable and send it over to Ukraine so the firefighters there could use it. And I know he collected I think over 120 firefighter uniforms or equipment, and from all the local companies, and they had to take all the patches off and all the lettering and all those things, and then send it over. And he was sent pictures of the firefighters that received it. And actually, at the Eagle Scout ceremony, it's the first one I've ever been to, really, that had an international project. But we had the consulate from Ukraine, from New York City, was there to thank Nicholas for this project and just thank our country in general for the support. And also a family member from Ukraine came over as well to present him with a plaque from firefighters in Ukraine. The other interesting thing was there was 2 scout troops, because he originally was a Boy Scout in Brooklyn, and then he moved here and transferred to our local Boy Scout Troop 87. The troop in Brooklyn was 187, so all he had to do was take a 1 off his sleeve, and he had the right number. But it was scouts from both troops participated and leaders, and it was a great Eagle Scout presentation. I guess the only international one that I've been a part of.
Me too.
Excellent. New business, personnel. Motion for A and B under one.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Not, can I have all in favor signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Electronic financial transactions, A through C. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Excellent. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Travel authorization. Is there a motion to approve the travel A for children and youth, tax claim, emergency services, and veterans affairs?
So moved.
Second.
All signify by saying aye for approval. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Monroe County still cold, Area Agency on Aging. Is there a motion to ratify the execution of the first amendment of the local agency grant agreement for senior farmers market nutrition program to reflect changes in the program administration as required by the federal regulations?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Children and Youth Services. Ratify the execution of the 2023 budget plan amendment certification statement to reflect a 2.4% decrease in spending for the period, and to execute an adoption assistance program for AD. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. One of the things that happens with children and youth is that their funding is based upon their prior spending. And when we were out for COVID, the spending was down. So now what we're doing is facing the ramifications of that down spending, because now we're back up and spending a lot more. So I understand that there is some conversations hopefully taking place to increase the the allocations, but we'll see what happens in Harrisburg. Commissioner's Office. Is there a motion to signify or to approve items A through K?
So moved.
Second.
I think that I was supposed to be removed from the agenda. Was it? And I just don't have the right agenda. Yes, you're fine. Sorry. I was looking at an old agenda.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Just so you know, there's a lot in this. Ratify the budget adjustment report of 1-2 for $624,504. $510,000 of that is from ERAP. 198,000 of that is for services into the first quarter of this year, and $312,000 of that is for administrative that we're able to take out of that money for administrative fees. When we originally budgeted for this, we thought the program was ending, so that's why we have this adjustment. Then we have another budget adjustment for $1,424,065. $1,376,000 out of that 1.4 million is for children and youth to cover their future expenditures. We have a number of new professional services with new solicitors for the sheriff, the controller, the county, and the register and recorder. If you notice that it took a full firm to replace John Dunn. We have contracts for special public defenders and a PFA plaintiff advocate. We have Matheson transfer for moving of the constant moving at the courthouse. An agreement for professional services for Carbon Monroe Pike Drug and Alcohol Commission for $63,000. What we're doing is we have a alcohol recovery support specialist who will only be dealing with opioid overdoses. He has been doing that before, but now he will become a employee of Carbon Monroe Pike Drug and Alcohol. He was working for a corporation, but it was not a billable service. So what we felt was the best, more prudent thing to do was to hire him so that he can continue, and he will be the Narcan czar for Monroe County. The Youth Service Case Management Inventory 2.0 Test Usage Agreement, if I'm not mistaken, that's a computer program that oftentimes is required for by the courts just to give a risk assessment. And then we have a couple other vendors there. So moving on to number 7, capital outlay purchases. I'm sorry, did we vote on that? Right?
We did first and second, but I don't think we had the final vote.
I thought we did before I did that.
I don't think so. Okay.
Oh, okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, capital outlay purchases. We have 2 things, A through and B. First one is for $15,550 and the next is for $4,020.39.
I'll make a motion, we approve those items.
And I'll second that.
Excellent. First of that is $15,000. $15,550 is for a purchase of 10 additional pull pads from No Inc. That's on a state contract. And then the additional $4,020 is for a judge's robe for the courts, for an MDJ, a bulletproof vest for the sheriff, and a platform truck with side panels for voter registration, because we changed Middle Smithfield from 2 voting districts to 4 voting districts, and the other one is Tunkhannock. We split it in half, so that's why we need those 3 additional platform trucks.
I'm sure people understand that they're not real trucks.
No, they are, if you want to say, a big wagon.
To move things.
So what happens is all the equipment for a voting district goes into that wagon, and then it is put on a truck and then transported to the voting district. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 8, computer capital. Was there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. That is for the most part, $41,000 of that is for new cameras in our building here. There's 38 new cameras. We're getting rid of the analog cameras and going to digital. And $684 is for LaserJet printers in the district attorney's office. So with a first and second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Any miscellaneous? Dave? Sharon? No?
Thank you.
Public comment? Natalie?
I am Natalie. I'm from Monroe County Children and Youth, and I am here with a few other representatives. We all represent our agency, and we are just going to continue our conversation with the commissioners. It has been 3.5 months when issues were brought to your attention as far as our recruitment and retention efforts. We're still in a crisis. We're still down 12 people. Just this quarter, our quarter started January 1st, and we lost an employee. She did retire, which is great news, but now we're down 13 people. The more people that we lose, this does affect the community. It will affect our vulnerable children. It will affect the vulnerable families that need our help, that need our services. We invite you every Thursday. We have an administrative meeting, 9:30. Any commissioner, we invite you to it. We have retention ideas, recruitment ideas, but we need your approval. We are seeking your approval. We cannot do it without you. So please come to our meeting. We can discuss this more, but we need help. We are in a crisis and we can't do it alone.
Thank you, Natalie.
Teresa?
So my public comment has to do with the constitutions. I'm going to stand over here, okay? So my back's not to everybody. So an oath of office, and I know one of the sentences in the oath of office that were taken by the people in this room and throughout the county and throughout the state is, I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. And so under Merriam-Webster, fidelity implies strict and continuing faithfulness to an obligation, trust, or duty. And I would just like to say that there's over 100 patriot groups throughout Pennsylvania. And I don't know if they're more Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter, is they're patriots in Pennsylvania. And some of those groups are right here in Monroe County. At a group meeting that I had with people this week, a fellow patriot reminded me that the Constitution of the US and Pennsylvania are written as, we people have rights. Everybody has rights that are given by God, so they cannot be taken away. And as we the people, we have a duty to hold officials in office to abide by their oath. That's why some of us are here. And communicate other ways on the phone and email and in person. With that said, my grievance about the constitutions are the county commissioners are our board of elections people. We look for them for guidance for our elections and for them to make the regulations and let us know what's going on. People in this room have spoken of being open and transparent of the election processes. Then why are there only 6 open? I don't like using the word public. I'll use we the people, open election board meetings this general election year. So that's my question. I know it's public comment, so I don't know if I'm allowed to ask a question and get an answer. I don't know what the rules are anymore because they change as we go along, and I'm okay with that. So, but I would like to continue on with today with the agenda item number 7A. So you're looking for us to have a public comment to the agenda items, but how would I know to have a comment to an agenda item if no ink is under, no ink, which is an election matter, is under ratified capital purchases report dated 11/24. Like, if there could be in the future that it is more transparent of what the purchases are for, I would deeply appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Just so for those keeping track at home, we have a salary board meeting at 11, retirement board at 1:30. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are. Thank you for coming.